Hi everyone, welcome. My name is Jonna and I am the owner of Blue Coach Travel. Today's video is basically a continuation of what we talked about last week, which was those Disney terminologies. Now today specifically we're going to go over a very basic, simple explanation of how to use Genie Plus, lightning lanes, individual lightning lanes, and virtual queues. Now to use all of those, it actually starts with setting up your My Disney Experience account. So, and you can do that, well, you can do that at any time, but you definitely want to get that done after you have your reservations or your reservation number or your booking number. Because that is something that you're going to link in there. So the things that you're going to do in there that it's going to really help you out when you're going to use Genie Plus and those lightning lanes is you're going to set up your profile and also set up the profile of your family and make sure that everybody is linked to that reservation. And something kind of fun that you can do in there is you can choose a Disney character for yourself and for everybody in your family. So that's kind of fun. Also some other things that you're going to do in there. So like I said, you're going to link those reservations, but you're also going to link your park tickets. You're going to link your memory maker. You're also, that's where you can link your magic bands. And one kind of thing with the magic bands is, once you have that reservation, a lot of times there will be some discounted magic bands. Now they won't have the full selection that you could find, when you get to Disney World or even online at the Disney store. But there are some options there and you might get them at a discounted price. So it might be worth not having the selection to be able to get that discount. Now, if you choose not to do a magic band, you don't have to. You will get a card when you check in and you can use that just like you can a magic band. Magic bands are just a little bit of a convenience is really what they're for. So when you use your magic band, you'll have that card behind it to make purchases, and you'll also need that to make dining reservations. So now you have the My Disney Experience all set up. Everybody's all linked, everything all linked. You're gonna want to make sure that you download the app to your phone. Because the setup is really easy. I like to use a laptop or desktop when I'm setting everything up. But when you're in the parks going forward, you're going to use your phone for everything. So make sure that you have that app downloaded. And when you open it up, the first things that you're going to see are at the top, it's going to say purchase Genie Plus. So obviously that's where you're going to go to purchase the Genie Plus if you decide to do that for your day. And then you'll see start planning your day. That's basically the free Genie service that we talked about in last week's video. You'll scroll down a little bit, you'll see where you can join the virtual queue, and underneath that it will say lightning lane. Now to make it even more confusing, that is actually where you make that individual lightning lane purchase. So those are going to be those big deal rides where you can purchase the individual lightning lane outside of Genie Plus. Now to answer the question when you can use these. So, or when you can purchase, when you can join the virtual queue, start with Genie Plus. So you can purchase Genie Plus the day that you're going to use it, beginning at 12:01 a.m. And then you're able to make your first lightning lane reservation at 7 a.m. So do you really have to get up at 12 o'clock in the morning? No, you don't. I would suggest anywhere from 6:30 to 6:45 is when you want to get up, purchase Genie Plus if you're going to do it for that day. And that way you're all ready to go when 7 o'clock hits and you can start making that first lightning lane selection. Now everyone can make a lightning lane selection. That everyone who has purchased Genie Plus can make that lightning lane selection at 7 a.m. And that is going to be an important piece of information when we talk a little bit farther down. Individual lightning lane, again, can be purchased at 7 a.m. But that is for resort guests only. If you're not staying at Disney World Resort, you wouldn't be able to make that purchase until the park opened. Now, there is 2 times when you can join that. The first being at 7 a.m., and that is going to be for everyone. And then the second time will be at 1 p.m. Now, at 1 p.m., you do have to be in the park to join the virtual queue. As I was describing when you could use all of these services, you were probably thinking, everything starts at 7 a.m. How do you do it all at the same time? Well, you can't. Now, if you do have multiple people in your party that can help you with that, you can certainly, divvy out those responsibilities. One person is joining the virtual queue while the next person is purchasing or is making that first lightning lane reservation, and that third person maybe making that individual lightning lane. So, but if you don't have that option, then there is an order that you want to make those selections. So the first thing you're going to want to start out with is a virtual queue. And there's a few reasons why. So the virtual queue is free. And like we said earlier, anybody can join at 7 a.m. So the competition is the greatest for these virtual queues. So that is the one that you want to prioritize. You want to make sure that you get into that virtual queue starting at 6:58. So you want to go through all the steps to get into that virtual queue, and then it's going to pop up with a screen that says you can't join until 7 a.m. You want to hang out at that screen, and from 6:58 to 7 a.m. you want to consistently be refreshing your screen. So basically just pulling down with your finger over and over and over again until you something pops up, and just make sure that you're just going through each option, because basically it's going to ask who's going to be in that virtual queue, which members of your party, but you'll be confident to know that everybody's in there, because way back when you made that reservation or made your initial reservation for Disney, you had already set up your My Disney Experience app, so you're good to go. Now, a few things to keep in mind with the virtual queue is it's just that. You are basically just making a reservation to be able to wait for that attraction. Now, right now, there's only 2 attractions. There's Tron at the Magic Kingdom, and there's Guardians of the Galaxy at Epcot. So it is not a lightning lane. So it's not that you're going to be jumped at the start of the line, or there's going to be a shorter line. It's just basically that you're going to be able to wait in line, because currently there is not an option for a standby. There's not a standby option. So just keep that in mind. The last time that we were at Disney just a few months ago, we did both. We got a virtual queue for both Tron and Guardians of the Galaxy. Now with Tron, we were able to get a really good return time. It was very early. I think our return group was like number 5. So, we were able to get on pretty close to the park opening. We were already inside the park. We had a reservation at Crystal Palace. So we had a character dining with Pooh and his friends. And so we were already in the park before the park opened. So, we were able to just go over and use our virtual queue for Tron. And we did not wait long. I want to say it couldn't have been more than 10 minutes that we waited. Now, we had a very different experience for Guardians of the Galaxy. So for that one, I don't remember what our return group was, but I do think, if I remember correctly, we had a return time of around 11:30, I want to say, and we ended up waiting for well over an hour, probably closer to an hour and a half, before we got on that attraction. So just keep that in mind. You will probably still have some wait time if you have a virtual queue. Now, the only way that you cannot have that wait time would be to have to purchase an individual lightning lane, which we'll talk about next. We're not going to talk about that next because so the order that we want those 7 a.m. times that we need to do things, like I said, virtual queue is number 1. Number 2 is to make your first lightning lane reservation. And the reason for that is, again, that is open to everyone who purchases Genie Plus at 7 a.m. So again, you're competing against others and the largest group of others to get those lightning lane reservations. So you want to get those as close to 7 a.m. as possible. So you've refreshed your screen, you've gone through all those questions to get your virtual queue done, you've got that virtual queue time, immediately go back in and start making your first lightning lane reservation. Now there's going to be a couple of times when you can make your next lightning lane reservation, and this is where it starts to get a little confusing. So you can make a lightning lane reservation once you've used the first one that you made. So let's say you made one and the time was from 9 to 10. You tap in at 9 o'clock, you ride that, and well, actually when you tap in, you can make another lightning lane reservation. Now let's say that first lightning lane reservation wasn't until noon. Well, that's when the next rule comes into play. So you can make a lightning lane reservation after 2 hours have passed, or 120 minutes. But the caveat with the very first one is that 2 hours doesn't start until the park opens. So let's say the park opens at 9 o'clock and you made your first lightning lane reservation, the return time was 12 o'clock. So the next time that you can make another lightning reservation is 11 o'clock. Now, and that continues throughout the day. So suggestion that I would have is to make sure that you are setting alarms on your phone. Make sure that your phone is on silent. So if you're in, some type of show or anything, you don't disturb others. But make sure you have that alarm. So every 2 hours, you are making another lightning lane reservation. Now keep in mind, those lightning lanes are not just for rides, they are also for character meet and greets, and they can also be for shows. So just keep that in mind when you're planning which lightning lanes that you want to reserve. Now, the third thing you're going to do at that 7 a.m. mark is to purchase that individual lightning lane. And again, those are for those big deal rides. So there's currently 5 of them. In the Magic Kingdom, it is Seven Dwarfs Mine Train and Tron. In Epcot, it is Guardians of the Galaxy. In Hollywood Studios, it is Rise of the Resistance. And in Animal Kingdom, it is Avatar: Flight of Passage. Some rules around the individual lightning lane is that you can only make 2 of them per day. And also something to keep in mind, you can't modify them and you can't cancel them. So before you purchase that individual lightning lane, make sure it's something you want to ride. And you can choose which members of your family can go on that. So let's say not everybody wants to go on it. You don't have to purchase it for everybody. You can just purchase it for the members of your family who want to ride on that attraction. So a couple of other things to remember. You are using your phone and you are in competition with others. So you want to make sure that you have the fastest speed available. So, you have the opportunity to either use your cellular data or to use the internet wherever you're staying. If it's on Disney, I have the best luck using cellular data instead of Disney's internet. It seems to just go a little faster, and that's what you need. The faster, the better. So when you're making those lightning lane reservations, there's usually an hour time frame that you're working with. So you make a lightning reservation from 9, it lasts from 9 till 10. But one thing to keep in mind, you do have a little bit extra time. So you actually do have 5 minutes before your lightning lane reservation and 15 minutes after that you can still tap in and use it. So if you're running a little bit late or you're on one side of the park and need to go to the other side of the park, don't worry, you have that extra 15 minutes. Pick and choose the days that you purchase Genie Plus. You can purchase it on your Magic Kingdom day, and you could not purchase it on your Animal Kingdom day. It's really, really up to you. But that is a big decision, and it is kind of confusing on whether you should or you shouldn't. And that's where you have a secret that others don't. You can elicit the help of a travel advisor. At Blue Coast Travel, we will get to know what you and your family really wants to do. Maybe you're a family that doesn't really like roller coasters. Well, you're not going to pay any attention to those virtual queues because those are 2 roller coasters. So really, it's really individual to you and to your family. Down below in the description box, there is a link to schedule a complimentary consultation, and we would love the opportunity to help you plan your next Disney vacation. We will work very hard to make sure that your vacation dreams come true. So we look forward to hearing from you, and if you found the information in this video at all helpful, please hit the thumbs up button and don't forget to subscribe. Guys, have a great rest of your day, and until next time, bye.